My name is Luna. I am an African American. When I was 21, I studied abroad at a university in Japan, where I met Soda. Many Japanese people were kind, but Soda was especially kind and considerate. Before I knew it, I was always watching him. When we ate lunch together at the cafeteria, I was so full of emotion that I couldn't taste the food. I thought, maybe I like Soda. But of course, I didn't have the courage to confess my feelings. I had to go back home in 6 months, and above all, I am black. There was no discrimination based on skin color in Japan, but in my homeland, a part of the States, I had faced indescribable discrimination since I was born. I thought, it's crazy for someone like me to confess to a wonderful person like Soda. Thinking so, I was happy just to be friends and had given up. Then, when my period of study abroad ended, my friends threw me a farewell party. Soda attended too. We all had a fun meal, shook hands, and parted with promises to meet again. Then Soda said he would see me to my door. Just when I thought this would be the last time I would walk with Soda, I felt like I was about to cry. Oh, I realized once again that I loved Soda much more than I thought. And my heart was squeezed tight. It was just a little bit more until we reached my house when it happened. Luna, will you go out with me? At first, I thought I had misheard. But Soda was looking at me earnestly. It will be long distance once Luna goes back home, but I am serious. Soda. Can I hear your answer? I thought, of course, it's a yes. This is a dream. If it's not a dream, then a miracle has happened. But I couldn't just nod honestly. I like you too, Soda. But I am black, you know? It was painful. I wanted to scream that it didn't matter. But the harsh reality of this world does not spare anyone. Nobody can understand what it's like to face the discrimination that black people endure unless they become black even for a day. It felt like I was discriminating against myself, and tears spilled over. Soda looked at me with eyes that seemed both angry and sad. After staring silently at each other for a while, Soda sighed softly. Never say that again. All I want to know is one thing. Do you like me? Soda. You said you liked me earlier, right? Can I believe that? Yes. It was a moment of unbelievable happiness. I sincerely apologized to God for not being very grateful in daily life, and thanked Him again. This is how we started a long-distance relationship. We exchanged text messages and talked every day through video chat. Soda worked at his family's traditional Japanese sweet shop and always talked happily about his work. Listening to him, I became interested in Japanese sweets and studied them through videos and books. 2 years after we started dating, Soda came to the States to meet my parents. Since I talked about him daily, my parents welcomed him warmly. And there, he proposed. I am sure that Luna is the only person I want to spend my life with. My mom and dad looked at the resolute Soda with pride. Of course, I wanted to be with Soda too. It was a bit sad to think of leaving the States, but knowing how wonderful Japan was, I had no worries about living there. And so, at the age of 24, I traveled to Japan again. Soda came to pick me up at the airport and took me to his apartment. After a good night's sleep, the next day we finally went to greet his parents. It was my first time visiting his family home, and I was surprised to see a large, traditional Japanese house like in the movies. We were led into a purely Japanese-style living room, where Soda's mother, who resembled him, and his stubborn-looking father were sitting. This is my fiance, Luna. Oh my, you've come from so far away. Please, take a seat. Thank you. His mother offered me a cushion, and I sat with him in front of his parents. While his mother was smiling, his father wouldn't meet my eyes. I've come from the States. My name is Luna. I have been dating Soda since our university days. I fell for her and asked her to date me. Oh, that's wonderful. She must be a lovely lady. Of course. She's strong-willed but kind, smart, and reliable. I don't think I'll ever meet a woman like her again. That's why I want you to approve our marriage. Embarrassed, I blushed at his words, but my happiness was much greater than my embarrassment. If you say so, there's no reason for us to oppose. Luna, we look forward to having you. Yes, thank you. I replied firmly, and that was when it happened. His father, who had been silent, glared sharply at Soda. I am opposed. I've always said so. What? How dare you? Quiet. Our family has been running a traditional Japanese sweet shop for generations, you know? Becoming Soda's wife means becoming the female shop manager. I can't see a foreigner being up to the task. Dad. I've told you not to mix up the shop with Luna, haven't I? It's utterly outdated to say she must become the shop manager just because she marries me. I have no intention of forcing her to do so. Shut up. That's just an idealistic view. This job relies on the couple working together. If she becomes your wife, she needs to take on the role of manager. There are many traditions and etiquettes that even Japanese find difficult, let alone a foreigner. It would be cruel to make her do it. Dad, that's outright racial discrimination. I didn't mean that. Don't insult me. I was so frightened by his loud voice that I inadvertently trembled. Seeing me like this, Soda's father gave a slight smile. I'm sorry, Luna. If my words sounded discriminatory, I apologize. Oh, no, it's okay. Don't get me wrong, I'm not saying it's because you are black. I think this job can only be done by Japanese. That's why I oppose the marriage. It's not that I'm personally rejecting you, Luna. I just want you to understand that. I didn't know how to respond. But I felt a little relieved knowing that his father wasn't opposing the marriage out of irrational discrimination. Afterward, our opinions continued on parallel lines. And we left his parents' home without resolving anything. That night, seeing Soda so down, I took a bold step. Soda, can I really become a shop manager? What? I want to chase the same dreams with you, Soda. I'll work hard to be approved by your father. Luna, you don't have to strain yourself. I propose to make you happy. I don't want to burden you with my family's issues. Don't say that. I want to be a help to you too. Soda hugged me with a tearful face. Although I was nervous, I was glad to hear that he wasn't rejecting me personally. I thought, Soda's father isn't discriminating against me because I am black. If he sees that I can manage, he will surely approve. Thank you, Luna. My dad is stubborn, but he's not unreasonable. I know. I will definitely make him approve, so just be yourself, Luna. That's enough for me. Thus, we tried to convince his father daily. Of course, during this time, I also learned from Soda about sweets and customer service, the basics of the shop. However, his father refused to change his mind. Then one day, we received a call that his mother had collapsed. And we rushed to the hospital. Sota, sitting on a bench in front of the treatment room, looked pale. I sat next to him and firmly held his hand. After a while, the doctor came out and said, "It's just back pain, so she needs to stay in the hospital for a while." Relieved it wasn't a serious illness and that she could be discharged in about 2 weeks. We visited her in the hospital room, where she said, "Sorry for making you come all this way. Please don't apologize. Let us know if you need anything. I thank you." May I ask you a favor? Yes. While I'm hospitalized, could you help out at the shop? What? Mom, I think it's a good opportunity. I've heard from Sota that you've been working hard. Isn't this a chance to show my husband? I know it seems daunting, but I believe you can do it, Luna. Let's prove him wrong. Holding my hand, she seemed truly kind. Her warm hand reminded me of my mom back in the States. What will you do, Luna? Of course, I'd love to help. When I answered, she smiled happily. I'll talk to my husband, so can you start helping out from tomorrow? Understood. But will he agree easily? Don't worry. Leave it to me. Sota, let Luna wear my kimono. I think she'll look great in it. Got it. Thus, I began helping out at the shop the very next day. The first floor of the family home is the shop, where Sota helped me put on a kimono in his mother's room. It suits you very well. Thank you. Wearing the kimono, I felt enveloped in her mother's spirit, which gave me courage. I thought, I will do my best with what I can do. As I nervously descended to the shop, Sota's father glanced at me briefly. I tensed up, expecting him to say something, but he silently returned to his work. Luna, could you arrange these sweets in the showcase? Yes, sure. Could you arrange them like this? He showed me a photo he had taken with his smartphone. Following the photo, I placed the products. The carefully crafted Japanese sweets, wrapped in charming Japanese traditional paper washi, were a delight just to look at. I thought, amazing. I've seen them in videos and photos, but seeing the actual Japanese sweets like this is really wonderful. Sota and his father were busy with preparations. After I finished arranging the products, I took a broom from the shop and cleaned the interior. Then I also cleaned outside. As soon as we opened, customers began to arrive. I focused on using polite Japanese, applying everything I had studied hard. Oh, it's rare to see a foreigner selling Japanese sweets. Yes, it is, isn't it? But your language is so clean and your service is meticulous. Are you a part-time worker? No. This person is my wife. Oh, that's wonderful. You will surely make a great shop manager. Thank you very much. I was nearly moved to tears by the customer's kind words. After ringing up the sale and returning behind the counter, I met father's eyes. But he said nothing. From that day on, I worked in the shop every day. Although I made many mistakes in the unfamiliar work, he neither scolded nor praised me, he only remained silent. Many times I felt like giving up, but thanks to Sota's encouragement and the kind words of the customers, I managed to get through each day. As usual, after closing the shop and saying, "Good job today," I left. Sota and his father would stay back to prepare for the next day. And as usual, I went to a certain place. Luna, you came today too? sorry for coming every day. I'm not blaming you. If you study here every day after work, don't you need some time to relax? I'm worried about you. Saying that, his mother gently patted my back, her brows furrowed with concern. Yes, after work each day, I came to visit her and learn about the job. Although Soda taught me too, he is a craftsman making Japanese sweets. The duties of a shop manager and a craftsman differ greatly. And learning from her seemed the best way to study, so I visited her secretly every day. I'm happy you're working so hard, but it's no good if you exhaust yourself. I'm fine. I'm physically very strong. After my reply, she sighed softly. Sorry. Is my husband still being stubborn? Stubborn? He actually acknowledges you. But once he says something, he can't back down, so he can't apologize on his own. Is that so? There's no one in this world who wouldn't acknowledge such a wonderful person as you. Saying that, she patted my back again. I nearly cried from her words, but I held it in and sat down on a chair beside the bed. Mother, could you teach me about jelly dessert and mizugashia today? It's getting hotter recently, and they sell well in the shop, so I get many questions about them. It's that season already. Originally, mizugashi meant fruits. But now, it refers to Japanese sweets eaten in summer like water jelly and water manju, and jellies. In our shop, besides the traditional water jelly we've been making for ages, the agar made with fruits that Soda developed is popular. She took out her smartphone and showed me photos. This is the classic one with azuki beans. And this one uses watermelon, peach, and muscat grapes, which is popular among young people. If a customer asks for a recommendation, you should start with. While I took notes on her explanation and asked questions about anything I didn't understand, the visiting hours flew by. I thanked her and said I would come again tomorrow as I left the hospital room. Little did I know that father had seen me. My father-in-law had been thinking this. I hadn't visited my wife in the hospital because of my busy schedule. I thought it was okay, since she had just hurt her back a little and would be discharged in a week. But I decided to visit at least once. I never expected to find Luna there. As I was about to open the door, I heard voices inside and peeked in. There was Luna, learning about a mizugashi from my wife. She was taking notes earnestly and asking questions about anything she didn't understand. Her expression was so serious, and I just couldn't bring myself to enter. Honestly, Luna was a really good young woman. I knew she had been taking care of customers in place of my wife and learning about Japanese sweets. But I just couldn't acknowledge her yet. It wasn't her fault. Certainly not because she is black or anything like that. But our shop has been a traditional establishment since the Edo period. Not only does the shop provide sweets for customers at the storefront, but also for famous traditional tea ceremonies. There are so many detailed customs involved in such work, I thought it would be too painful for Luna. Even though it's tough now, I believed that ultimately not marrying would be better for her. But then, hesitating, I went to the hospital the next day, and what do you know? Luna was there, asleep on my wife's bed. She fell asleep from exhaustion. She's really trying her hardest, it's painful to watch. There's no one else quite like her. I know. If you know, why not just accept it? If I accept the marriage, won't Luna ultimately be unhappy? Why do you assume that? Because she's a foreigner? Do you really believe that only a Japanese person can be a shop manager of a Japanese sweets store? Respecting and valuing tradition doesn't differentiate between foreigners and Japanese. To think otherwise is just Japanese arrogance. Believing that only Japanese can understand the spirit of Japan is just conceit. If you won't accept her, I won't come to the shop even after I leave the hospital. Hey. At that moment, Luna's shoulder twitched, and she slowly raised her head. You fell asleep from tiredness. Haven't I told you not to push yourself? Seeing my face, she stood up surprised. Father. I'm sorry, I'm the one who should apologize. Excuse me? I'm truly sorry for the unpleasant attitude I've had until now. Please, make Soda happy. As I apologized, my wife smiled joyfully and embraced Luna's shoulder. Luna looked at me as if she couldn't believe what was happening. Tears quickly filled her eyes. Seeing her crumpling face and continuing to cry from happiness and surprise, I realized and thought, oh, I have a daughter now, such a lovely daughter, and I nearly cried myself. From that day on, he started to teach me the work personally. It was tough, but when I managed to do what I was taught, he praised me happily. And just seeing his smile made all the fatigue disappear. You seem to have more fun when you're with Dad than with me. I had become close with his father until Soda said that jealously. After his mother was discharged from the hospital, she taught me how to wear kimonos and about tea ceremony etiquette. And every day was truly enjoyable. Before I knew it, 6 months had passed since I came to Japan, and it was finally time for our wedding. Of course, my parents from the States attended. The ceremony was a traditional Shinto style, and during the reception, I wore a dress that my American mom had prepared. Many of the shop's customers attended the reception, and I felt incredibly blessed by everyone's congratulations. Now, we will proceed with the cake cutting. As the female announcer spoke, the lights dimmed, and my father-in-law appeared with the cake to music. Father? Sorry for keeping it a secret. Dad really wanted to surprise you. Seeing the cake placed before me, I was astonished. It was a wedding cake made out of Japanese sweets. I made it for you, Luna. I hope it makes you happy. Father. The cake, decorated with narikiri sweets shaped like flowers, was so beautifully crafted it was almost a shame to eat it. I thought, to think that my busy father-in-law made this for me. Thank you for coming to Japan and becoming part of our family, Luna. We look forward to spending more time with you. Father. Mother. I couldn't hold back anymore. Despite trying to stop my tears because my makeup would run, I eventually started crying. Seeing me, the attendees gave a warm round of applause. It was really tough when I was told that being a foreigner made me unsuitable. But my father-in-law never discriminated against me based on the color of my skin. Considering the environment I had lived in, that was already remarkable. Yet, they accepted and loved me. Thinking that I would spend my life in this wonderful country filled me with joy and pride. And my tears just wouldn't stop. Someday, I hope to become a famous manager and fill the shop with customers. That's my dream now.